The children crave the metalworker. Hello folks, Phil Gallagher aka ThrabenU here for another Legacy video, and today Edison has asked me to play either a Stacks or a MUD deck of some kind. Now, I don't just mean the traditional one ring Karn Forge Glaring Fleshraker deck here. I wanted to find something that it was either Stacks that had some real prison stuff, or was MUD, which we tend to think of as colorless ramp based around artifacts. And if you search the Japanese deck lists in particular, you can find a couple of things floating around the metagame that are going to share a decent bit of the core with the current One Ring Karn Forge deck, but this one was spicy. So we are looking at a deck that has a Metalworker combo in it. So you reveal any number of artifact cards, not colorless cards, but artifact cards from your hand, and you gain 2 mana for each card revealed this way. Well, this deck already wants to be playing some number of Manifold Key and Voltaic Key style effects. So what you can do is, on the surface, just untap your Metalworker to make a bunch of mana, but it is a little cuter than that if you have the Staff of Domination. Now, for those times that you just have a gajillion D mana, you can play this in a fair capacity. 5 mana, draw a card. Untap it, 5 more mana, draw another card. That's a thing you're allowed to do. But what we would really like to do is have, say, 3 artifacts in hand. Metalworker taps for 6 mana. We are going to use 3 of that mana to untap the Metalworker, make some more mana. We'll pay a mana to untap the Staff of Domination, and now that is going to be an infinite combo. So that is technically infinite life, infinite card draw, and infinite Metalworker untaps, and you'll win the game if you do that. There's some spice in this deck list. We have one of the old MUD staples here, originally from Scars of Mirrodin, I believe, Kuldotha Forgemaster. Sacrifice 3 artifacts to search your library for an artifact card and put it onto the battlefield. And we've got some spicy ones in addition to just like the good ones, or the one that might be a part of our combo. We have Portal to Phyrexia. When this artifact enters, each opponent sacrifices 3 creatures. At the beginning of your upkeep, put target creature card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. Pretty sick. And we do just have the classic Blightsteel Colossus, which we are capable of giving haste for a kill out of the middle of nowhere. Although honestly, most of the time we are going to win the game with Karn, either by just locking our opponent out in some capacity, be that with Mycosynth Lattice, or by dragging the game on long enough that we can just actually produce a win from there. So we'll see how this one plays out. Should be a lot of fun. I think it is going to be noticeably less powerful than the Glaring Fleshraker build of this deck. Glaring Fleshraker is just power-crapped Metalworker after all. But hopefully we do some cool things here. Folks, if you need any Magic cards, maybe for the upcoming Magic Con Atlanta, check out my sponsor, toamagic.com. They're awesome. Promo code ThrabenU saves you 5% on your order. You always get free shipping. And if you see this purple banner on site and you need something like some dual lands on a budget, they tend to have a really good like HP, MP section that you can go and pick up some budget dual lands with. All right, let's battle. Okay, turn 1 workshop. Turn 2, Urza's Saga, no Metalcraft, can play Metalworker on turn 2, but my artifact count isn't actually going to be that high. I think this one is a mulligan. If memory serves, my opponent plays a bunch of Storm combo, so I would like to just like stick a Karn as quickly as possible. This I'll keep. I keep this junking 1 Kozilek's Command, and I think I am not going to just call, like, cold call Disruptor Flute on Beseech the Mirror here. If a Thoughtseize goes on the stack, like, it's different. Romux, Lotus Petal, that's fine. If another Ritual goes on the stack, I think I Disruptor Flute. That's still fine. Echo instead. I will use my Disruptor Flute while I still can. think I will go for Beseech. I think that's going to be the easiest way to get a win. My new hand will play the One Ring on my next turn. So if we get there, cool. Doesn't look like I'm getting there. Ball Therapy. Targeting themselves. Yeah, you gotta do what you gotta do. Okay, my next hand just plays Karn. That's great. Like, Karn is very good here versus everything. Hell yeah. Not dead. Not dead is so good for me here. Now, Urza's Tower? I think Urza's Tower over Saga. So, yeah. Do I have Tormod's Crypt? I do. Minus. Yes. Tormod's Crypt. Cast. Now I've shut off artifacts while also keeping the Siege graveyard kills in check. Seems good. I think I'm just gonna go, yeah. Do I have any super spicy things here? I have Trinisphere. I'm interested in that, but not immediately. I think I am just going to Karn plus and pass the turn with Kozilek's command available. And this is why. So now my opponent will make an Urza Saga Construct token. Oh shit! That is not what I was expecting. Okay. No, I was expecting to have to defend the Karn from this Construct token. I was wrong. There's LED, Lotus Petal. Okay, so my opponent can Entomb for an Echo. Sure. I think I will go ahead and cast this in response. I'm going to scry and make some spawns. Target myself for both. Yeah. I don't need these cards, so I will just bottom both. It's fine. So that was leaving me live to cast another Disruptor Flute. Thoughtseize is fine. My hand's actually not very good. It's fine because Urza Saga does Urza Saga things. Ancient Tomb. I will play Planar Nexus. There's 3 mana. There's Grim Monolith. There's Candelabra. There's Manifold Key. I'll pass turn. I can presumably untap Urza Saga 1 or more times here with Candelabra. I haven't mathed that out. So 3 mana. There's Urza Saga, Manifold Key, untap Grim Monolith. There's 3 mana. Let's untap Urza's Saga, and I guess Urza's Tower. Yeah, there's 3 mana. Yeah, those are 7s. This will be enough to have lethal. Oh, there's a Karn too. So, yeah. Alright, we won that one. Opponent played a damn good game. Like, they tried to make it work through multiple pieces of hate. I think that Karn, on average, is just very good as Karn. I don't think it has to just find Trinisphere too. I might end up boarding in some of this stuff. Grafdigger's Cage has some negative synergy with Forgemaster. That's probably fine. So Karn, the turn it comes down, just finds Tormod's Crypt and has Lattice for after that. Sometimes can get Perilous Snare as well. I don't need Portal to Phyrexia. Forgemaster is extra copies of Trinisphere. I probably don't need Staff of Domination. I don't know that I need Blightsteel Colossus either. Trimming a Metalworker gets me here. I think I'm going to trim another Metalworker to get another key into the deck, just to untap Monolith more frequently and get me to 4 for Karn. Okay. I'm very scared of the game where I am on the draw, though. I guess I could have played Fairy Macabre. I don't think this is what I want to be keeping. Kozilek's command is fine, but I don't think it is quite that good. So this is now Planar Nexus, Urza's Tower for 4 mana on turn 2, and it's really more than that. But I don't have the best things to funnel into. I'm going to keep going. This isn't it. I don't think I get to be picky from here, though. I think at this stage I am keeping a couple of lands and some mana. I'll keep this so I have 2 different reasonable things versus a Thoughtseize. But this is not good. Again, though, I am very worried about just dying on turn 1. It is Thoughtseize. I've lost Culligan's command. Yep. I can put this Monolith into play immediately, which I think I'm going to do since my opponent is an Echo of Eons deck. My opponent only has 2 cards, though. So we are in a top deck war. My opponent does a draw 7 effect. I can cast a Disruptor Flute or something. That's just a tapped land. Alright. Good old-fashioned top deck war. I hit a threat. That is a threat that also tutors towards some light disruption for the matchup. It's not an I win button, but it is something. Hell yeah. I don't think I need to cast that until something else goes on the stack. Now I think I cast that. So yeah, we'll name Beseech. And hopefully that just served as counterspell. It did. Nice. GG's, starting off strong. But that was not a typical game. We were both on, I think, 5 and 4 respectively or something. Today's video is sponsored by Moxfield.com. If you want to see upcoming sets, if you want to understand commander brackets, or if you just want an awesome place to store all, and I mean all, of your deck lists, Moxfield is the place. You can organize all of your decks by folders, and you can even change the views. You like visual, they've got that. You like text, they've got that. Check out my Moxfield Pro Field if you want to see all, and I mean all, of the decks that I've been cooking up. Okay, I'm absolutely going to keep this hand here. I am going to deal an Ooh, Painter. I am probably going to deal an exceptional amount of self-damage to myself. Can I play Metalworker on 1? Ancient Tomb, play Candle, untap Ancient Tomb. No, that's just neutral. That's 2 mana again. Play Manifold Key, untap Candle. I think I'm going to go ahead and put Manifold Key into play immediately. I don't think I want to dump artifacts as quickly as possible since I am trying to do something broken with Metalworker. I don't know that my Metalworker thing is always going to work, though. Which kind of graveyard shuffly dude is Blightsteel Colossus? Because that might be relevant here. Alright, so I reveal it and shuffle it into library. Who are you? And what have you done with ThrabenU? Planar Nexus? I'll ask you to take that back after this play, because it's Metalworker time. Opponent says, if you're being held hostage, blink twice. Nope. I'm in my lane, thriving. How dare you? That was pretty likely though, right? Like, opponent was not making plays in the first couple of turns of the game, so they probably kept a reactive hand. We've got some boots, but not more land drops. I've got a few ways that I can play this out, and they all probably lead to a win. The easiest win is just doing the One Ring nonsense, because that doesn't open up Lightning Bolt. I'm going to give Metalworker one more chance here before we fire Metalworker. We fire Metalworker. Next turn we'll do the broken One Ring things instead. Urza's Saga. Gainer's fine. Everything is blue. That means that technically this can be Spell Pierced. Or not Spell Pierced, like Red Elemental Blasted. Yep. That's what we get for trying to be cute with Metalworker. We opened up Lightning Bolt and Pyroblast by not just taking the line that used good cards. Now maybe I can just do something involving a Blightsteel Colossus or something like that and get my way back into this, but this is very scary because Grindstone is just coming. And yeah. There's Lotus Petal. There's Forgemaster. Oh fuck, I think I needed to take more damage here. No, I think I needed to take more damage. So there's Boots. There's Equip. Fuck. Alright. Alright. So now here's the thing. I have Blightsteel Colossus in my deck, but this does not shuffle my whole graveyard. So I think I'm just going to be dead to Painter. Not immediately. I get 1 redraw, but that draw is Blightsteel. Or wait, or does this force a draw? It's been a little while. I think this forces a draw if my opponent actually activates Grindstone. They should just kill me with the Construct token, but they might want to look at my deck. Alright, so there's the Grindstone activation. No, it does not force a draw. So I die to that, which is fine. What do we have for Painter? Boseiju. Crafter's Cage does some stuff. Dismember does some stuff. I guess conceptually, what's my role here? My role is play Karn, win. My Metalworkers sure aren't good. I think I'm going to go Metalworkers and Staff out. And I like most of the rest of this stuff. I'm going to board in the Cage as a tutor target and leave this to wish for. No, this is not enough mana. This is mediocre. It has 2 1 rings. It does not get there quickly. Soul Guide Lantern is not exciting. I think I'm going to go to 5, and I'll keep a mediocre 5 if need be. And, need be. Petal goes back. I'll put this back in the deck. Nexus and pass. Alright, I am a little headachy right now, and I am just trying to remember. I feel like there... Urza Saga. I guess I could have played out the monolith there. That's fine. The increase Urza Saga token size. But I feel like there was a time where one of these shuffle effects created a draw with Painter. I'll go ahead and do this now. So there's 2 2s, there's 3 3s, still lightning boltable. Anyway, I feel like there used to be a time where doing something like this generated a draw with Painter. And I don't remember if there was a change to, like, unbounded loop rules or what. Pyroblast my Urza Saga. No tutoring for me. Sure. So how much mana is this making? This is on cast? Yep. I am oddly punished for playing out Lotus Petal. So we're going to, I think, just exile the Painter here. I was trying to grow this Construct token, but I can also get the Goblin Welder this turn if I do this. So let's just draw a colorless card here. Nope. And in with the Construct token. Opponent's at 17. Goblin Engineer. Okay. How spicy of a tutor target do you have? Because all it takes is a Pithing Needle or Disruptor Flute, and Ugin can be shut off. Oh, hold on. I'm gonna take that back. I don't have Metalcraft without Lotus Petal. I'm a liar. I don't get punished for that line. Okay, yep. I figured it out. A Pithing Needle on Ugin, pretty darn good. So I will just play Rocks. Now this is still getting to happen because this is an on-cast. Yes, we will take out the Welder. Again, my artifact mana is on, so if we draw a big payoff card, we are off to the races. My opponent needs another Painter pretty desperately. Got another Welder. That's not doing a ton here. They're not hitting extra land drops. And they're just gonna go ahead and do some pokes at Ugin. This one land. Forgemaster, Trigger, Junko Welder. And just in case you're yelling at me in the comments, why aren't you getting rid of Pithing Needle? Exile up to 1 target permanent that's 1 or more colors. I guess humorously, if my opponent plays... Well, I guess that's why my opponent wants Painter, right? They want to make my cards not colorless. Disruptor Flute. I now potentially need to name the Forgemaster. Yep. Yeah. So get protection, exile engineer, crash in for exactly lethal. That was gross. That was the game that I mulliganed pretty deep, right? Yeah, I won that one on 5. Happy to see that. Do I want to give up, like, maybe some top end to just play another Disruptor Flute in the main? Portal to Phyrexia is, like, not uncastable. I'm going to keep the Portal as something that I have access to off Forgemaster. It's just a way to clear out all of the Goblin Welder type effects at the same time. Turn 1 Karn, right? So Ancient Tomb, Monolith, 3 mana. Leave 1 floating, untap, 4 Karn. Seems good. I do have the Blightsteel in my hand, so that's not perfect. Metal's fine. Painter's good, obviously. Opponent has turn 1 Painter. Ooh, shit. Nice. So, Monolith. 3 mana. Manifold Key. Untap. Monolith. Honestly, it might just be correct to do this and save Karn for the following turn cycle. Then I don't open up Karn just dying to a red elemental blast. Engineer is fine. I can check that with Karn. Phyrexian Dragon Engine. Yep. And Boots. 3 mana. Untap. I'm just going to make this as a land drop. 4 mana. Karn. Karn minus. Yes. I do have 4 mana available. I'm still just into Crypt here. Play Crypt, play Boots. Pass turn. Artifacts are off, Graveyard is off. I have Lattice coming. Ooh, Haste. Okay. Are you doing 1 or 2 at Karn? 1 at Karn, sure. That's all fine. All 3 and 4. There's the 1 ring. There's a blast. That's fine. How good are the low-cost targets here? Do I have 4 mana? 2. I could just Tormod's Crypt myself and get a 1 ring. I'm just going to Karn plus with no targets and keep playing the game that I'm playing. I think this is fine. I think I want my opponent to hemorrhage resources dealing with this Karn, and then I will clean up with the second Karn. Yeah, that's fine. On leaving Goblin Engineer as possible, I'll take 1. I think I am going to go ahead and do this. Oh, that's fine. So let's make some mana. 3 mana. Untap Monolith. 8 mana. Cast. I'm going to make some spawns. I'm going to exile a creature. Make some spawns. I'm going to exile a creature. Yaw. An opponent has 0 cards in hand. So my opponent can then sacrifice the painter, at which point I will exile their graveyard, and my Kozilek's command still resolves. Then I'll play Karn. I will Karn, and minus... pick up a Forgemaster. I don't have the Blightsteel, which is like obviously what I would want off of that. Ooh, I don't have the graveyard covered here, but my opponent does not have any artifacts, so I think that's fine. They're setting up a Null Rod. I think I will just let my opponent hit the Karn. That's fine. I might need these spawn later. So untap this. 3 mana. Monolith. Monolith. There's 5. Equip. Sacrifice 3 artifacts. Back a key. Actually, I don't need the haste here anymore. Let's get rid of the key. A monolith, and honestly the Forgemaster is fine. I'll get it back. Hold on, I'm just going to confirm. Yes, okay, fine, yep. There's Portal to Phyrexia. My opponent loses all of their creatures. All Karn, plus, no target. And now we can just set up to win with Lattice. Or Ensnaring Bridge, or honestly whatever. Portal to Phyrexia is very strong here. Pithing Needle, that's fine. So Portal to Phyrexia is going to get me back my Forgemaster. I'll untap my Grim Monolith. I have Disruptor Flute available if my opponent sticks something cool. And I will just beat them to death with creatures. They've got mana. I don't think I'm playing this Grindstone yet. I will return a Goblin Engineer. I will just take out artifacts that I don't want to draw. Don't want to draw a Lotus Petal. There's an Urza's Tower. Is there an artifact that I would like super want here? 1 ring is a little dicey from 7. I think I'll just send in and pass the turn. I guess I didn't do a count to see if I can just cast Blightsteel Colossus. 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, we're pretty much there. Goblin Welder. We're just going to say no to that ability. And this is the point where my opponent is going to concede. You've given me the GGs. Alright. I don't think I played that round as optimally as possible, but scoreboard, we're 2-0. So this is kind of an all-in hand, right? 1 mana, 2 mana, 3 mana, 4 mana, 1 ring on turn 1. I'm going to keep it here. I've taken some headache medication, so hopefully my head clears up a bit. I am wondering if last round when I was talking about Blightsteel Colossus, I was thinking of what happens if you have 2 of them. You have 2 of them, you create a loop then where you are forced to eventually like keep looping and looping and looping and looping and looping. 1 ring resolves, and there's a workshop, which I don't mind. Metalcraft will be on next turn. Shadowy Backstreet. Be a 60 card hate bear list. Even Interrupter there probably makes that pretty likely. So Death and Taxes really tends to be a white-black deck these days, and also tends to be a Yorion deck. Opponent has Bowmasters coming. Sure. Portal to Phyrexia. Well, that's a real cool thing to work towards. So I think I'm going to do this. Do a Soul Guide Lantern. I guess I will take out the Aven Interrupter. That can eventually come back. So now I have 2 mana. I'm just going to Disruptor Flute Orcish Bowmasters right now. Like, I know my opponent has it. I am going to spiral this game with the One Ring. Let's just kind of keep that going. Fallout Wasteland. Skyclave. Oh no, not my One Ring. Goodbye. Overlord ticks down 1. Karn is cool. Yeah. There's a new One Ring. I'll draw my cards. There's another Urza's Land. This is all fine and good. I like being on the side of the person doing the broken thing here, rather than the person trying to control the One Ring. Emperor of Bones. That's fine. I have Soul Guide Lantern if I need to. You can exile my Lotus Petal and attack me out of spite. That's fine. Again, we don't have to worry about Orcish Bowmasters in the short term. Venture's Fair gains us a life. I think I'm just full on going to be to Portal to Phyrexia mana. Oh, wow. This is not guaranteed versus Solitude. 3, 6, 7, 8 mana. I don't mind just doing this. So Grim Monolith, all the mana. Hold on. Can I not do a workshop for that? There we go. 8, 9. Portal. Goodbye, your creatures. Hello to my 4/4. Felia is fine. Like, my opponent gets 1 Felia trigger, and then I can get a Skyclave. Start messing around with that. Another Overlord. That's a little awkward. I'll bite. Alright, Overlord trigger. Opponent has a Solitude now. Sure. Okay, they are just immediately taking out that illusion token. This is fine. Not quite sure what their follow-up play is going to be here. Okay, they are just going on an Overlord. That's fine. They can do this to try to get that Solitude back to their hand, so I can't use it. Oh, Containment Priest. Okay. Containment Priest is neat there. I'll gain a life. That gets effectively exiled. 4, 8, 9, 10, 11-ish mana. Perilous Snare on Felia is fine. Let's draw some cards. Okay. That Kozilek's command is presumably just insane. Let's make a lot of mana. I'll go for the spawn, and I will exile a creature. Let's do Felia. I will make 11 spawns. Now for 4 mana, I could just go and untap my One Ring. Yeah. There's a Karn. I will Karn minus, say yes, and that's good enough for my opponent. This is not nearly as deterministic as if I have a Paradox Engine that I just have access to. Okay, in this matchup, I imagine that my Metalworkers are a liability with my opponent's various Swords to Plowshares and Solitude style effects that are probably not getting boarded out. I'm just going to get rid of those. Very interested in Dismember. I am interested in a couple more lands that just can happen to answer some hate cards. I'm probably going to play an extra key. Due to Containment Priest, this becomes less viable. Solitude also makes it less viable. Tutoring up Portal to Phyrexia is not nothing, though, despite some awkwardness. I think I will leave the Blightsteel. This is probably going to be fine. It's not as fast out of the gates as possible, but we can maybe do some Karn ensnaring bridge stuff. Swept Heath, passing the turn. That's all fine. Alright, well, these are going to get real good in a minute. On the off chance that I draw a Tron land, I think I just am going to start there anyway, though. And I'll pass. Don't have to exile anything from the graveyard because there isn't anything. Opponent can surveil here. And it does. So I guess I should be thinking about, like, Why specifically does my opponent want to be playing a 60 card version of this? Are they trying to increase the percentage of the time they hit a Thoughtseize effect? That's reasonable to me. Oh, this is all fine so far. I think I'm going to get a little cheeky here. I think I'm going to pass the turn. And when my opponent fetches, I'm going to Disruptor Flute. And I have a 50% chance of hitting what I want here. I believe I am currently more scared of Felia. Now, if Bowmasters comes down here, Bowmasters comes down here. But I think Felia has a very good chance of swinging this game in a way that is very, very negative for me. If it just immediately goes and leads into an Overlord or something. Basic Plains resolves. That is what I would name. It's not here. I have Soul Guide Lantern to check that. Oh, that's actually a surprisingly good draw. So I can go Manifold Key. This is Metalcraft. Now I play Workshop. There's 3 mana. There's Monolith. There's 3 mana. Untap Monolith. There's 6 mana. There's Karn. Mindbreak Trap. Okay. Guess I could have played around that. There's 5 mana. There's Forgemaster. Cabal Therapy now doesn't do anything against me. There's the 4th land. Well, that's annoying. That's X equals 2. I guess I'll take out my opponent's graveyard. So now I just need to draw a bomb off the top. That kind of counts. Like, I'll take it. Hit my opponent for a bit. That's... okay, that's the Aether Drift land. Sure. Ah, no Metalcraft. In which case, I think I just hold up Urza's Saga. Yeah, I'll just hold up Urza's Saga. If my opponent has Felia, I would, I guess, rather have them blink this. I'm gonna just hold. Yep. So if they have to blink Forgemaster to attack, that means that they are not blinking one of their own value permanents. I'm fine with this. Activated abilities of artifacts, creatures, and planeswalkers can't be activated. Doesn't say anything about enchantments. And this is all fine. No Surveil land there. The Felia attack is safe, right? You attack, you blink this. The Urza Saga would be 1/1, 18. My Forgemaster comes back. I will make a friend. Oh, shit. Yeah. So I'll make a friend. I will pick up Lava Spur Boots. I'm a little light on my artifact count here. I guess I go 1, 2, 3. How much mana is this? 1 billion. I will exile a creature and make spawns. So there's 6. Oh, my opponent's just dead. So I have 4, 8, 9, 10, 11. I have 12 with what's currently on board, or I just go sack, 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 Blightsteel, haste, win. That's 3-0, right? That's 3-0, and I don't even feel like I'm playing great today. We'll take it. GG's. Okay. No mana. Mulligan. Some mana. I could go to 5. I'm just not doing anything fast here, and I still need mana to get to this. I guess I could do a Kozilek's command for X equals 1 on turn 2, and that guarantees the 1 ring on turn 3. I'm gonna just mulligan. That's fucking stupid. Get rid of that. And I'm going to get rid of the candle, assuming that one of these 2 copies of the 1 ring sticks. The candle is obviously pretty cool with Urza's Tower. We do have an opponent who can be playing counterspells. So hopefully I resolve one of the 2. Wasteland is actually the scariest thing against me, not counterspells, because I have 3 very, very, very good cards here. Opponent gets a redraw. I get a workshop. That's fine. I'll just pass my turn here. Maybe I play Tower on 1. I think I like Planar Nexus on 1. So with that fetch, I'm going to get hit for 3 here. And that's fine. 17. So, yeah. We're going to Kozilek's command here. And I think I'm going to do this around Spell Pierce. Take the pressure off the board. Win eventually. Brainstorm in response. Daze into Graveyard. We played around that. Alright, fantastic. We'll pass the turn here. We'll do a 1 ring later. If I choose not to play around Spell Pierce, I can carry a second Eldrazi spawn over into the next turn, which may or may not end up being relevant. Is Murktide Regent is a 7/7. That probably means that I just have to fire off a One Ring immediately as a fog. If I had more mana, I would be into Karn. Alright, One Ring resolves. That's a turn of fog here. That's great. Ancient Tomb as a land drop is totally fine as well. And I can probably eventually work towards Karn Ensnaring Bridge or something here. This is all fine. Planar Nexus is totally great. So Metalcraft is not on, so I have 3, 4, 5. I'm just gonna do this immediately. Keep the one without counters, get my protection. I'm gonna draw some cards. Metalworker is very bad at this stage of the game. Just very noticeably worse than something like a Glaring Fleshraker. And then I'm just hoping that I do some Karn nonsense and everything is fine. Bridge is not the best. Bridge can stop a Murktide from hitting me. It's not going to stop a Brazen Borrower from attacking as of right now. Not having Paradox Engine is real here. That's an island afterwards. Island is not Wasteland, so life is fine. I'll lose 1. Too much mana. Find some things other than lands. So there's 3 mana. There's 6 mana. There's a Karn. There's a minus. Yes, I could do Perilous Snare. Perilous Snare and Ensnaring Bridge both kind of answer the Murktide Regent. This many lands here is just very, very awkward. Do Snare. Filter into white. Cast Snare. Snare the Murktide. And pass turn. Oh wow, there was a Brainstorm and no desire to look for a counterspell in response to the broken things I was doing? Unusual. Bolt my face, ignoring the Karn. So let's see where this goes. If my opponent has something like Price of Progress main deck, okay, it's Unholy Heat, sure. Then that all makes sense. That is another Murktide Regent. Alright, I'll take some damage. There's a Forgemaster. I'll draw some cards. There's a Kozilek's command. Okay. So there's a workshop. There's a manifold key. I will untap the One Ring. I'll draw some cards, and then we will make a plan that involves this Kozilek's command in some way. I guess I can play these monoliths first. Slightly increases my mana count. There's 16. There's 17. I am interested in the scrying, and I think the spawns. I'm just hoping to win this turn. We'll play around Daze, because my opponent has 1 card, and it seems pretty free to do so. The lands can go to the bottom. Oh, this is going to jump around something terrible, isn't it? So these are the cards that actually matter. I'm going to resolve a Portal to Phyrexia and effectively win the game. I just need to then get the One Ring out of play, which I can do with a Forgemaster. We can chain together some Kozilek's commands. This is fine. I'm going to repeat the same process. Just a few clicks. I'm going to send all the mana to the bottom. From here, I can win any number of ways. Let's go. Bam. 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 Cast Ugin. This is fair and reasonable. Now I will gain 3 life and draw a card. I will do the One Ring. That takes out Brazen Borrower. And my opponent has had it from there. Well, that was a lot of clicks, but that all worked. GG's. This overall strategy is very dumb. And as I have said before, I do not believe that this card is going to be legal in Legacy a year from now. I don't imagine that I'm going to sideboard much here. My metal workers are vulnerable to lightning bolts. I can play Dismember for early opposing creatures. I could play Trinisphere to attempt to be my silence effect, essentially. Soulguide Lantern has some text. Oseiju has some text just as another land. I don't know if I'm going to sideboard. I was actively thinking about Blightsteel Colossus as like the way that I was going to kill my opponent for a while there in that specific game. And then Ugin just made it all way too easy. I'm going to assume that this is a keep. I just cast an Ugin on like turn 3. Scalding Tarn, pass the turn. That's all fine. How do I feel about a Grim Monolith getting dazed? I don't care. I think I don't care. I don't care if it sets my opponent back on a land. Yeah, that can just chill in play. And at some point, I will just cast this. And it will be good. Wasteland is fine. I'm not currently taking any points of damage from my opponent. I'll just make a land and pass. We can repeat this process for a few turns before I start playing an Urza Saga game. Yeah, this is fine as long as the DRC doesn't come down. And it looks like opponent's just passing. This is fine. We have land. We're not missing out on that. Ponder's fine. Again, we just don't want our opponent to play a threat. If I have time, like if time is a resource that I get, the game will favor me more and more and more and more. This turn's really hard. I think I am just going to do this. I think I could sit here and think about this turn for 20 minutes. Brainstorm's fine. Now, when my opponent plays their first threat, I probably drop an Ugin. And it might be this turn. Like, this might just be Murktide Regent. Actual, factual Delver of Secrets in the year of our Karanos 2025. Yes. There's Candle, which turns on Metalcraft. So these now tap for 3. I will untap all of them. Hold on, that's not right. 1 land, 2 lands, 3 lands. There we go. So there's 6, there's 9. I'm good with this, even if it gets countered, because it still takes out an opposing threat. Is it resolving? Surely not, right? That's a consign, but they did not have the mana to do anything further there. There's 5 mana. This is a Forgemaster that just represents Blightsteel Colossus. And like, yeah, you can bounce that. I will just cast it again. Bobble is fine. Okay, that's Unholy Heat. That's very helpful. An opponent is digging. I'm just going to transition into an Urza Saga game if I don't draw a bomb. And honestly, I might play a bomb and play an Urza Saga game too. That's a Ponder to shuffle. My opponent is down to 2 cards. They really need a whammy. They need a Murktide Regent. They need a Price of Progress. They need something crazy. Misty Rainforest is not that. There's a redraw. Okay. There's a Saga. Yeah, honestly, I get that. Is this 4-0 now? We are 4-0 with honest to goodness MUD. Okay, maybe it's not the most honest deck in the world, or the most good deck. But we've only dropped 1 game today. Okay, so we have only 2 mana as of right now. With the Blightsteel in hand especially, I think this one is just a mulligan. So, land drop, Metalworker on turn 2 off Lotus Petal. Metalworker dies to everything, though. I think I am going to keep it. I'll pitch the Forgemaster here. Which is awkward, because, like, Karn, Metalworker, you know, not perfect synergy. Sometimes I'll just draw a Planar Nexus or a One Ring, and my hand will just become stupid. And I will just lead on tower and pass the turn here. Blue deck again. Are you blue-black? Basic Island Shuko. Alright, it's Nadu. I have a Karn. That does stop Shuko. Well, okay. I mean, like, if you're gonna offer. There's turn 2 Karn. That's Force of Will. Pitching Nadu. Let's see if we die on turn 2. We are dead if my opponent has Cephalid Illusionist here. Otherwise, I get to continue playing Magic. Alright, that was a turn 2 combo kill with Force of Will backup, unfortunately. My opponent is now going to mill their entire deck and ultimately will dread return a Thassa's Oracle. Hold on a second. Do you just have all of your Narcomoebas in... Oh, did you fuck up? You have Memory's Journey? You have Memory's Journey? Hold on. You have Memory's Journey. Okay. That's unfortunate for me. So there's Saga. There's a One Ring. I'll draw some cards. I don't think it's gonna matter. My opponent will cast Memory's Journey and shuffle a couple things back into library. Alright, so there's Memory's Journey. Opponent gets Thassa's Oracle and Cavern of Souls. That's going to be tough to beat. It is not impossible, but it's very tough. That's a Surveil land. Honestly, that extra land makes it even tougher, I think. Attack out of Spite. Sure. I'll lose one. There's a tower. I'll do this. That Blightsteel draw stopped me from winning with Forgemaster? I don't think so, right? I'm far away from Metalcraft. What about Metalworker? 1, 2, 3, 4. 5 to get this equipped, so I do have to use this land. I can use Metalworker to make 4 mana. That's not getting me anywhere. Forgemaster key on tap? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No. Don't have artifact lands to cheat the count. Can't deal 17 with Hasty Urza Saga Construct token. I get Metalcraft with Metalworker without making the land drop. No, right, I already calculated that because I need 5. I can't get extra mana out of Urza's Workshop. Yep, they got it. That's unfortunate. This deck is so hard to sideboard against. I think I need at least some degree of interaction against the creatures. I think I'm going to take Portal out. I'm going to play the extra Disruptor Flute, I think at the cost of Staff of Domination. Going to turn a Metalworker into a key to go faster. Going to take a Cage at the cost of a Metalworker, and I think stop there. I could cut 2 Metalworkers and play 2 Trinispheres, and that would not be the worst thing either. Or cut the Forgemaster top end. I could do this. Play 2 Trinispheres. That's fine too. My Forgemaster is just the One Ring. I think that's still fine. This is unexciting, but probably keepable. It is going to require drawing a Haymaker of some kind. I don't think I am going to throw back 2 different pieces of disruption here. Saga's good. I might be Disruptor Fluting that. I guess this is Nadu, right? Probably don't need to do that versus this deck. 3 mana Trinisphere. Alright. That's a Nadu down, which I like to see. But Force of Will backing a fast combo is a recipe for disaster, because my deck gets better the longer the game goes. So now I will probably end up Disruptor Fluting a Shuko after my opponent fetches it. Which is, you know, it is what it is. My opponent can Surveil. I guess Consign is something to think about, but I'm just going to let this happen. Opponent's floating the mana. There's the Shuko. 3rd land drop. 1 Nadu was pitched there. There's Cephalid Illusionist. So there's Disruptor Flute. Name the Shuko. Hopefully that buys us some short-term success. And it looks like my opponent is now passing the turn. Now I am reliant on my deck drawing something broken before my opponent's deck draws something broken. So Nomads in Core is now the scary thing. Honest to goodness beatdown. You'll love to see it. Land drop 3 and a Nadu. Yep. So I'm going to get beaten down for 4 per turn. Hopefully my opponent doesn't have a counterspell, because if they don't, I probably win this one. Emphasis on probably. I will now untap the One Ring for 1 mana. Mana very much not a bottleneck here. It's another One Ring. Sure. I'll take the extra card right now. I mean, I was just willing to make that deal, so I guess I'm willing to make it again. Keep this one. Draw another card. As a Kozilek's command, I'm a little low on mana here, though, unfortunately. But it's a potential cool card for a little bit later. We're again trying to dodge the Nomads. Hitting another Disruptor Flute would be pretty ideal. That is a Cephalid Illusionist activation. Prevent all combat damage that would be dealt to and by target creature you control this turn. So that's doing Nadu the hard way. You do not see that very often. Alright. Let's find something cool. I have more mana than God. Urza's Workshop. Handle. I'm gonna make some mana. I'll untap the Planar Nexus too, in case I need colored mana for some reason. Manifold Key on the One Ring. I will draw some more cards. That's what I'm looking for. There's an Ugin. I will get rid of the Nadu. You may have one trigger. It is a Brainstorm. That's a great card. I imagine my opponent is going to do immediately. Ugin absolutely falls into the oh shit tiers of cards. Day's not going to do it. So, opponent needs Force of Will or a Consign. Miss that. Okay, or Force of Negation. This still gets rid of the Nadu. So I think I'm going to scry a bunch and just go ahead and exile the Illusionist too. I will do a moderate scry 15. 14. You may mill your 3. Ooh. Oh, it's just a Surveil first. I was gonna say, like, if you have Consign too, like, might make me sweat a little bit. Alright. Sagas to the bottom. Oh, this is all gonna jump around something terrible. Full Guide Lantern to the bottom. Mana to the bottom. Now this stuff I actually have to start thinking about. 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. That's just Karn plus Lattice immediately. I'll put a Karn on the bottom. Then I will just put a bunch of other cards in range of Kozilek's command. So there's Karn. There's a bunch of mana. There's Karn minus. Say yes. There's Mycosynth Lattice. And there we go. Good enough to move to match 5, game 3. See if I can get a trophy. Oh, that was stressful because that was a fast combo backed by Force of Will. But we threaded the needle on that. Chronosphere got countered so Disruptor Flute could live. Chronosphere plan successful. Okay, when I am on the draw, I might want a little more interaction. I could play Boseiju to attack Shuko and Urza's Saga. I could play Fairy Macabre, which is medium in a World of Memories journey. Not going to board in Tormod's Crypt. I think I am going to get rid of Forgemaster on the draw. Play some Boseijus. Oh fuck, that's a 61. Perfect deck building. Well, I can make a lot of mana. Like, a lot of mana. This is turn 1 Metalworker. Turn 2 Kozilek's command for a respectable value. I don't know if this is better than mulliganing, though. Because I can just die on turn 2. I think I'm going to ship this. This is better. I'm going to keep this, and I think get rid of my Grim Monolith. I don't think that's doing anything special right now. Blooded Strand. Alright, Ponder's not a combo piece. I might play Saga on 1 to start ticking towards Graveyard Hate. I have the Crypt that I can tutor for, but I also do have Soul Guide Lantern in the main. I think I am not worried about my immediate death with double Dismember here. I don't think I'm going to play Saga immediately. Anything that is not putting permanents onto the board, I am largely in favor of right now. Opponent says no to Illusionist. That might mean they already have Nadu. Karn. I was kind of thinking about playing Saga this turn. Now I don't think I am. I'll just play Workshop. I technically have 3 different pieces of interaction up. Drop 3. I am fully expecting Nadu here. Is Nomads instead, sure. This honestly might just be an opportunity to use Kozilek's command for X equals 1. I think I'm going to do Exile and Draw. And this is a, if it resolves, cool. If it doesn't, I have 2 Dismembers anyway. Yeah, that's fine. Like, Consign hitting that and not hitting Karn is big game for me. One Ring is not immediately castable. I wouldn't be casting it anyway. And with 2 Dismembers available, I'm okay with my opponent going to their turn. Ooh, this is stressful. I'm just going to Dismember that. I'm going to pay the full 4 here. I have Planar Nexus, which can filter mana, but I think I want to be able to Dismember both bodies around days. Ponder is fine. The more interesting question now becomes, do I Dismember Cephalid Illusionist? If I Dismember Cephalid Illusionist, it is easier for me to tap out for a permanent on my own turn. Opponent Surveils, keeps a card on top. I think that might be my tiebreaker to go ahead and Dismember this. Get rid of whatever card they are interested in. That is a mill 3. Okay. Through Ugin. I have too much fat in this hand as of right now. Really wanted to resolve the One Ring there. That's Nadu. No combo pairing yet. I've got a 1/1. What do I have for 1-drop targets? Soul Guide Lantern, less interesting with Nadu in play. Candle? Candle is kind of interesting, since I'm about to lose Urza's Saga. Okay. There's also Cage, I guess. I think I'm going to get Candle. This is 4 mana. I'm going to play Karn. Karn shuts off Shuko. Now it has to be Nomads. I will just plus on nothing here. Pass the turn. And my hope is to not die. If I don't die, I have Ugin and the One Ring coming. Mycosynth also not all that far away either. Just some tension in making Urza Saga construct tokens for Metalcraft and using my mana for powerful cards. Serenity. Ugin? Maybe Ugin gets me out of that. I need to put another artifact into play here. Tormod's Crypt? Karn minus Tormod's Crypt, Metalcraft, 3 mana, 4 mana, 5 mana, down to 4, untap Workshop, up to 7, Ugin, Nuke, Serenity. Okay, that seems fine. There's Tormod's Crypt, cast Tormod's Crypt, 3 mana, untap, 5, 6, and 7. Ugin. Is it Nadu? Maybe it's just Nadu. With 2 One Rings. Yeah, maybe it's just Nadu. Cephalid Illusionist. So I will gain 3 life, draw a card. I hit an Urza Saga, which I don't want to play out yet. Send in. Opponent's at 16. Pass, Serenity trigger. I'll exile your graveyard. I lose 2 permanents. I have 2 planeswalkers. Opponent needs to play both sides of the combo this turn, I think. And it can't be the Shuko side. Passing the turn with creatures is just not really on the table. So they've got to dig. That's just another Nadu. That's fine. So this Karn always pluses. Would not mind getting Metalcraft here. I think I will just take 3 mana. There's the One Ring. Target Nadu. Trigger. Opponent has a basic plains. I'll draw. That's a Planar Nexus. Don't have Metalcraft. That's just 1 mana. Yeah, I guess I will make an Urza Saga token and pass the turn here. I have Mycosynth Lattice next turn. Clock's getting kind of low for both players, by the way. You're not in, like, we need to start playing quickly territory, but has been an intense match. That's Nomads. That's the Illusionist. Let's see if my opponent has enough stuff in their deck to execute the combo here. Dread Return and Thassa's Oracle are now in graveyard. That's the Narcomoeba. That's going to do it. There's another Narcomoeba. And there's the Dread Return on Thassa's Oracle. And we missed the 5-0. GG's. Well played, opponent. Alright, let's go ahead and wrap this one up. Overall thoughts on the deck list. Very obviously, the core of this deck is incredible. I believe Metalworker never activated for mana. I believe Staff of Domination never activated. This was dead weight that we were carrying. These could have been Glaring Fleshrakers. The Forgemaster stuff was not terrible. We did some cool Portal to Phyrexia things. Like, the Forgemaster had real text. But I think these slots here are just pretty clearly suboptimal relative to what you can be doing in the format. You know, we could just be playing 2 more Ugins. We could be playing 4 Glaring Fleshrakers. We could be using a sideboard slot to have access to Paradox Zone. We could be playing a couple more keys to more consistently ramp out our mana. We could be playing Mystic Forge to just cast card after card after card off the top of our deck. So the Metalworker stuff, I think, is just fully unplayable. The Forgemaster stuff, I think, is suboptimal, but was not embarrassing. Like, Hasty Blightsteel is a thing. Portal to Phyrexia is kind of crazy if you can actually make it happen. And those cards are surprisingly castable here. But Forgemaster is 5 mana, and one of the more broken starts that you can do produces 4 mana. So why are you doing this when you could have the Mystic Forge that could come down on turn 2? And I don't think I have a good answer to that, because this opens up Swords to Plowshares. This opens up any sort of assassin trophy, like most non-fatal push removal, non-lightning bolt removal, will still probably kill this. And I think that's a big complaint that I have for this deck. When you are playing a more traditional version of the Karn Forge deck, like, you just don't really care about Source of Plowshares, Lightning Bolts, and all those sorts of cards. They hit Glaring Fleshraker, but sometimes you just immediately get your Glaring Fleshraker value anyway. And I think this deck has to work a little bit harder than the, existing tier 1 deck does. And some of the stuff, the Metalworkers and the Forgemasters, aren't great in the middle of your combo turns unless you have your Singleton Lava Spur boots to power them up. So generally speaking, this was a strong deck, but I think it's just a worse version of something else that is already existing and already is tier 1. But that was a lot of fun. I don't think I played great today. I had a bit of a headache and I missed some stuff. I think I tightened up a bit, but deck's a little tough to play, I'm not going to lie to you. It's incredibly good, but there's a lot of little room for optimization. Get your reps in if you're going to play something like this in a tournament. And with that, I think I'm going to go ahead and call it a day there. I hope you all have a great rest of the day. See ya!